Magic and NBA fans. You're here with Court Cousins. I am Kyle, joined as always by my daring cousin, Jason the Pich. Again, not a standard show. Look at that beautiful face, that beautiful mug there. Not a standard episode, Pich, but we do want to get on here and recap the offseason, or what has been. There might be one more move, one more roster spot to go, but we feel like the dust is settled pretty much to kind of go over things and give our 2 cents. And we'd love to hear your 2 cents too, second cousins, in the comments. So let us know what you're thinking as you're listening through to this. Just to recap real quick, the offseason moves. Drafted Tristan da Silva. Signed Kentavious Caldwell-Pope as a free agent. Re-signed Gary Harris. Re-signed Moritz Wagner and Goga Batatse. Then an extension to Jonathan Isaac, and now the big one to the Deutschman, the Wunderkid, Franz Wagner gets the max extension. I feel like we can't bury the lead. We got to start right there, Pich. We have Franz Wagner getting the max extension. It's a big number, as they all are nowadays, but how are you feeling about this?
Yeah, we've talked about this on the show. It was one of those things that it's got to happen. What are you going to do with that money, fans? Do you think you could find somebody better, younger, with more upside? I don't. I mean, he's already been on the squad. He knows everybody. A lot of the squad is kind of built around the Franz Paulo dynamic, and he comes up first for this. So, yes, all the way. Look, are the numbers a little absurd compared to what we've seen in past NBA for actual production here? Yep. But that's the way it's going now. So you got to just go roll with the times and look at it as like, should this man be pretty much one of the highest paid players on this team? Yes. And he is on track to be that. So I'm cool with that. I don't, as a Magic fan, I don't see anybody that should take umbrage with this. You.
Yeah, I guess the critics and some people that may have raised an eyebrow at the max was because of Franz's shooting. And I'm not saying I wholeheartedly agree that the lack of and the honest, we have to be honest, the really bad struggle from Franz from three last year. It was ugly. I mean, by the end of the year, he was turning down open looks. It gave me Markelle Fultz vibes, and you don't want that in a guy that gets the max extension. So I'm going to stand by those people and saying they have a legitimate concern here, and it's not okay for other Magic fans to be like, you're so stupid, you had to do it. What? Well, okay, let's calm down, though. We can have some rational debate in this conversation. I don't think that the front office had another move. You know, Franz is a guy, like you said, who has potential. He's 20 points, 5 boards, 4 assists per game on pretty efficient scoring as a third-year player. That's pretty damn good. He's going to – some other team would give him the max if you're not going to, because they're going to risk it on this kid. And I guess to the folks that are a little concerned about the three-point shooting, as I was, because what made Franz so attractive as a player, as a scorer, was in his second years, you saw, wow, this kid can shoot from beyond the arc. He has the mid-range game. He was doing the Dirk fadeaway. He had it off the glass both ways. 3-level scorer. And the only trepidation from some folks is, well, last year one of those levels was kind of taken away. And so this is going to be a big year for Franz to show that that was an aberration and not the reality of his shooting. You got to do it. And you believe in the kid, right? We've seen how hard this guy works. He's an Iron Man. He wants to be on the floor. If you're going to reward anyone with money, Pich, and we'll talk about the JI extension in a moment, reward a guy who's on the floor. I don't have a problem if you want to give Iron Man Franz Wagner the money. Give him the money, because the kid goes out there and he plays, twists an ankle. What you think? I wouldn't get up for another week after some of the ankle twists this man has had, and he's back in the next half. Like, this guy's got grit, and I'm happy to have him on the team. Here, Dennis Schroeder having a little bit of fun on the German team bus here. He says he takes a pic of Franz catching some Z's, and he's like, "Yeah, your sleep is real nice right now, huh? After signing $224 million, you deserve it, killer. From now on, I'll call you Money Boogie." So it looks like the German teammates are having a good time with him there.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's got to be pretty happy for him. this man get his Z's while he's doing some international play there. But I want to go to the post by Chuma Bucket from Twitter, because it really describes what's going on here. How this Franz deal is a total necessity. Number one, inferior players got the same deals, Barnes and Cade. I'll talk about that in a second. And then number two, like we just said, it'll be cheap in a few years. But Barnes and Cade in the same draft class, right? They get extensions as well. Who are you? Who of those three guys? We're biased, right? We're both wearing Franz Wagner stuff, so we're not the right people for this conversation. But it's like, down the road, who of these three guys would you rather have on your team? I have to objectively say I enjoy Cade Cunningham's game a lot, and I'm not trying to slate him at all. But I think I like what Franz Wagner can bring. He's the kind of guy that, because of those doubts and those question marks that people are putting on that and wondering where that shooting went and how bad his last game was. Ooh, this guy's hungry to get back on the court, bro. I wouldn't want to play this guy in the first game next season, because he's mad and he's going to take it out. And I think he's the kind of guy, like a lot of stars are, when like they're hit with diversity, they rise up. So I don't see this as a cushiony way for him to now take his foot off the pedal. It makes it more like a, let me show everybody that I deserve and I earn this. And he's got a better team around him than those other two guys. So I'm trying to stay objectively out of it. Please look at it like from that. Who does Cade have with him? Who does Barnes have with him? Who's going to look better 3 years from now down the road with these contracts? I don't think anyone's going to complain about Franz 3 years down the road. So
yeah. And the number's crazy, and like you said, I don't know if it'll be smaller. I mean, it will be smaller in the future. It won't be a big deal. In the last year of this deal, 29-30, it's 22.5% of our cap. So, you're giving a fifth of your cap money to a guy that has more than a fifth of impact, I think, on the team in terms of especially the scoring output. He's worth that. And, I mean, the comparisons to Barnes and Cade, those guys, I mean, Barnes was an all-star. Cade Cunningham is just a transcendent. He's a great passer. He's a great floor general, different type of player. Hasn't been able to play very much. Those guys, honestly, those would be max guys. I think what makes me feel better is a guy like DeAndre Ayton got a max extension. Teams have done far worse gambles with these max extensions because they are important. Your team only gets probably two of these, Pich. You can max extend a couple guys. You can have a couple max contracts on your books, and you got to get them right because those are your foundational guys. So Weltman here is showing Franz, hey, we believe in you. You are one of our foundational guys. You and Paulo, I think, are going to be the max guys. It'll be interesting to see how this influences Jalen Suggs' extension, which is one of the puzzle pieces that's still out there that we have not really heard about. And Weltman, of course, is not going to talk about ongoing negotiations, but I'll be curious to see what happens there. Jalen's also a very high upside guy. I mean, all defensive team, second team last year. He could fight his way into an all-star game one year. You get limited when you have 3-4 max players now, and you really can't do things. So I don't know, but that'll be a good problem to have if it gets to the point where it's like, well, Jalen should be a max guy too. Then we're probably kicking ass. But let me not divert the conversation.
Suggs might be betting on. Suggs might want to bet on himself and show that he's really that nasty this year, and then wait to do it at the end, which I've heard. But I think they might try to get it done before that. Just because I don't think the Magic want to take that risk.
No. And Jalen's been
I had to look at my phone for a second because you called Scotty Barnes an all-star, and I was like, he was?
Yeah.
I had to Google it because I did not at all remember that.
He was an injury replacement like Paulo.
I guess they needed a guy from Toronto, and we already had a guy from Orlando, so okay.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I misspoke. Paulo was not an injury replacement. Scotty was.
Scotty was, yeah. He had to have been.
Yeah.
I don't remember hearing him being in, but that's whatever.
He snuck
puts
on.
up numbers on a team that has no one, so that numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie.
Well, let's talk about some other numbers here, Pich. The other big news in the Magic community that we have not yet talked about together is the Jonathan Isaac extension. This is from Michael Scotto. Not sure what he is, but he's got a blue check mark that he pays for on Twitter. And he says, sources, the Magic have renegotiated and extended Jonathan Isaac to a 5-year, $84 million deal Full contract details below. Now, you might have got a little sticker shock if you just saw the $84 million after Jonathan Isaac collected money essentially for 2 years sitting on the bench, $17 million a year average annually. And now he's getting another 84, but look at what we did here. This upcoming year he's making 25, and then it's descending. It drops to 15 million, and then by 8% every year after that, all the way down to 28-29 is 14.5. The last 2 years are non-guaranteed. The third year, only 8 million is guaranteed. So really, it's only 2 years of guaranteed money. Pich, how do you feel about this deal, knowing the details here?
Thank you for finishing your throwing it to me with now that you know the details, because you absolutely know the sticker shock hit my butt.
I was going to say.
I saw 5 years, 84 million, and 84 is my favorite number, so it felt like a slap in the face. Have to calm down, though.
Yeah.
Because we understand that this is one of those weird descending contracts.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't believe that you owe this guy 3 more years of guaranteed money. I thought we were done with this. I thought we were done wondering if this man's going to play. I thought, okay, well, there's no way. And then they just go 5 years on it. And it's like, do you honestly think this man is going to be playing 5 years from now? I'm not so sure. Like, I wanted to see one full season of him playing, being held like a regular NBA player, a guy that you can count on to go play. And if there's a back-to-back, guess what? Put your uniform on and get out there and go play. Because right now, that's what it is. This contract here says to me, you better be goddamn near an all-star level player. You better bring the noise. You better be a starter. You better put in minutes, and you better have some fucking games played and no more sitting out just because.
Oh my God.
I cannot. I'm so pissed about it. Honestly, I just didn't want this to be. I didn't want this to be something I had to think about anymore. His being on the court, because when he's out there, he's so good. That's that. I've been using that dad that left metaphor for a long time, talking about Isaac, and it's like, look, you want to love dad. Yeah. But on the other hand, you're also like, if you went away and you never came back, my life goes on. I'm okay too. So I just was at a point where I'm like, yeah, maybe we'll just flip him to some other team and make it their problem, and we'll get somebody else in here. I was kind of clinging to a little bit of that hope. I definitely never would have imagined a 5-year contract like this. But when you see the breakdown, it's kind of like, all right. And the fact that it can just be whoosh with a major injury, it just goes away. Yeah. I'm like, all right. I see what they did, because they think they're doing exactly like the opposite of what we just talked about with Suggs, where it's like he could have a big, massive year this year and then make it really hard to re-sign him next year. So they're kind of betting that maybe they'll do this. And he's been with the team so long, I think he probably just was like, you know what? I'm not going to try to like hold them over the fire for more money. Although whoever his agent is fucking amazing, by the way, because the fact that you got this man guaranteed money 3 years from now is pretty awesome. Yeah. Like, this guy never really has to work again already, but now is going to get all this on top of it. Man, I think it's the biggest risk the Magic took this offseason. But in saying that, they know him better than anybody else, so maybe not as big a risk as if some other team went out on that limb. Yeah. Well, what do you feel? I mean, you knew I was going to flip out. Yeah.
I was really excited to see that. And you used the Lord's name in vain, so Jonathan Isaac will be coming down and smiting you, Pich, for that take.
He can pay somebody else to smite me now.
Yeah, he definitely can. Yeah, so I got another follow-up for you, though. So it sounds like for you, the J.I. trauma wasn't all the way healed last season, that you did not see enough consistency and time on court to feel good again.
No. It was a step in the right direction, right? Yes. It was showing up to a few birthday parties. It was bringing a gift. It was, we're getting some quality time. We're going camping together. You know, things are going well. Right. But, like, they're still not, like, we're not back. Right. Like,
it was years
I might have just
of abandonment.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm calling him maybe dad now. Right. Maybe just started calling him dad. Okay. Like, it's still early. So making a commitment like this is like, in this moment for the kid, saying that, I'm going to move in with him.
Right.
And it's like, whoa.
Yeah, he just came back in the picture.
Yeah, those things are going well, but let's not push too hard. And conversely, that might be what's going on with his body. Maybe that's why he can't play all those minutes or all those games back. But it's sort of like, do you want to invest in a guy who hasn't proven that he can do that? And that's my worry. It's not what he does on the court. He's a great player when he's out there. I just want more of it. And if you're going to pay somebody this kind of money for this long, that's what you should get. So hopefully that's what we get. And if he plays well and we even get to like the middle of the year and he's playing great and everything's gone, this will all go away. I'll move in with Dad easily, and it'll be fine.
There are some things that I feel like you need from a team-building perspective to be a championship contender. And you just want to be in the championship contention to win one. You got to get there first to win one. And I think we already talked about it. You got to have your cornerstone players. You got to have your cornerstone stars who are getting your max contracts. That's the Jason Tatum and Jaylen Browns for the Celtics. For us, it's Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero. You need some good rookies filling in some good minutes on rookie scale deals, at least one or two of those kind of new guys on the block. And you need a wild card, Pish. You need a guy that you kind of catch a flash in a pan that is playing over his contract and what his worth is. Bruce Brown did that for a few years before getting his bag, and like other guys have done it in these roles where they're kind of utility defensive guys, but will knock down some shots and have big moments in big games. KCP has been that guy on a couple different teams. So I think, J.I., this is a gamble. Right, you got to take a gamble when you're team building, and this is one that the Weltman Parker front office is taking here because they bet, and they're betting on the character of Jonathan Isaac. He and I, J.I. and I and myself, I've disagreed with a number of stances and things, but I do not doubt the man's character. Like, he is totally dedicated to these things, and I believe that he is committed. So when you look at this contract, like a few years out from when this is given, let's see, let's start, 26, 27. That's when Paulo's max would kick in. We figure we'd be maybe more in the championship conversation or going deep in playoffs by then. He's making $14.5 million, which is 8.5% of the salary cap. So if you can have a guy making 8% of your cap come in and be playing your sixth man of the year, maybe he's worked himself into, this is the gamble, playing more minutes, then shit, you got yourself a really good X Factor player. But it is a gamble, man. You're absolutely right. The man has been Mr. Glass. So what was his average minutes played last year? I don't even know. I mean, he got up a little bit more, but I mean, was he?
Yeah, I actually had it worked out, like how many games he had played, but I forgot what it was since we've started this podcast. And the percentage was very, very low. I think I did it as a percentage. And it was just, I think last year he might have gotten 13, maybe 14 minutes a game.
It was 15.8 last year.
Okay. I mean, that's in what, 65 games or something, like 60 games?
58 games, so not even 60
games. I mean, those numbers that's not good. Right. Like that needs a trend up. That's what I'm talking about. You need to have more there for this. But yeah, when I heard that there was, okay, if he gets injured, it's out, like majorly injured. I was like, oh,
okay. Right.
Oh, that kind of makes it not a risk, honestly. For me.
Yeah.
Look at that. It looked like one when you see 5-year, $84 million.
Yeah.
You have got to dig much deeper to find this one. This is like on Double Dare back in the day. You're digging in the pit of balls, looking for that orange flag. Like you got to dig deep to find it. And it's not a red flag down there; it's an orange one. But it's just, I don't know. It's weird, but like you said, there is no one that has a stronger conviction than John Isaac, even if what he believes in is wrong. But you can't question that man's ability to do that. So here's another guy that, like, if you show him this and now he is fully healthy, I'm sure he wants to prove me and everyone else that like thinks that it's not worth it wrong. So I like that. And I hope it works out and we laugh at this one day.
Right. Because if it does, you've got a guy who is an all defensive team type of dude. He finished 9th in 6th man of the year votes last year. So he gets he people know him around the league. This could be a force. So that's the gamble we're hoping for.
He didn't even really play enough to qualify for that, I don't think. Like, it's really odd.
Yeah,
that, like,
what is it? 65,
ended up on that list,
right?
but it shows that the respect is there for him, and that people are probably looking at him as like, oh, why doesn't that guy start for the Magic?
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, because they have this Wendell Carter obsession. But like, I think
we'll
that
see.
hopefully will change in the offseason. Or they'll at least do like a split minute thing. Maybe Wendell starts, but they're at least splitting those minutes.
Well,
needs to be closer. Needs to be more.
Let's talk about some of the guys that he might be splitting those minutes with, because some of the other news, definitely not big splashes, with the re-signing of 2 Orlando Magic big men, Moritz Wagner and Goga Bitadze. Cole Anthony, as always, coming through with the hilarious posts. Cole Anthony calling Goga at what was 2 a.m. For Goga Bitadze to give him the money sign emoji and congratulate his man on getting a bag. Fazan Amar from Six Man Show writes, as he usually is, Orlando Magic guard Cole Anthony FaceTimed teammate Goga Bitadze following his 3-year deal to return to Orlando, showing support. So the specifics on those deals, let's see here. What do we got? Goga, he has, all right, so it is, looks like non-guaranteed, no, 8 million, basically an annual average of $8 million a year. It's a descending contract, so he's going to make 9 this year, 8 next year, and 7 the following year. Moritz is getting a 2-year 22, $11 million a year. Next year, or 25-26, is actually a club option too, a team option. So really just one guaranteed year there for Moritz. But how do you feel about bringing these guys back, Pish? I mean, it's a little lackluster, if I'm being honest. There was some churning from the Magic community. Are we going to bring in a big? Are we going to draft a big? Maybe hoping for a little bit bigger of a splash, and we end up bringing back our tried and true guys. How do you fall in this debate? Are you a little underwhelmed, or are you feeling good about this center rotation of Moritz, WCJ, and Goga?
I'm not. I'm a little underwhelmed. I thought it was time to make a move, make a switch here. I think what we're really seeing is it's obviously not a huge importance to Coach Mosley to have a center. Like, that's not that it's not focal to what he does.
Right.
And he knows what these guys bring and maybe doesn't want to shake that up. I think Goga's getting a lot of money, honestly, for the role he's probably going to play, which is only garbage time. And I don't think he's factors in much in that. I think the rotation is honestly J.I., I think Moritz and Wendell. I don't see Goga getting a lot of minutes unless we've really got to like bang around with some massive big down there. And seems like a lot of money for that. I mean, again, we can afford it, and it is a third year. Him getting $7 million is like, I guess, but like, I don't think they needed to sign him to this big a contract. I don't think there was huge demand for Goga.
Well,
so I would have liked to see
the problem was, Pish, with Hartenstein getting the bag. I don't know if you saw that. He got 20-some million a year from OKC because they had the cap space, and everyone was goo-goo for Hartenstein. So the Knicks, I think, really drove up the price on Goga because they need a center. I mean, they still need a center, a backup center. They got Mitchell Robinson, who's like Jonathan Isaac over there. So there was some competition for big men this year in the free agent market. So I think that's what drove up his price. But continue. Sorry, I just wanted to.
Yeah, and also Jonas Valanciunas was there. No, that's a solid point.
But he went away, right? Didn't he get a
Goga
bag
didn't,
from?
like, Hartenstein did stuff on TV that people saw. Like, he had a reason to be coveted. I think Goga's been hiding in the cupboard and got dusty. So it's sort of like this is a guy we like because he's on our team and we've seen him because we watch games against the Kings in January, but like a lot of people don't. So it just seems like, but I guess that's how crazy the NBA contracts are, right? Like, guys that like could just be mostly wearing warm-ups are getting that kind of money. And it's not that he can't deliver. It just seems
Yeah.
like, hey, man, that's a lot of money. Do we need to give him 3 years to a guy that they could have cut off this team? And I don't think anybody would have been like mad.
Surprised. But Pish, I'm feeling
You
a
know?
little bit of Goga disrespect here. Okay, Pish. I mean, Goga, when we went on that awesome winning streak that really propelled us into the top of the Eastern Conference, our center was Goga Batatse. And he was giving us some nice rim protection and hustling and setting good screens. I'm actually hoping, Pish, and tell me if I'm crazy, I want to see more Goga this year with Wendell. Like,
right.
I'd like to see a little bit less Wendell minutes and see more of a rotation with Goga, Moritz, and Wendell. Like, get more evenly spread with those.
If that could happen, that'd be good. I feel like they're obsessed with Wendell Carter Jr., so he's going to get most of the minutes. But yeah, Goga's like the only true center we've got on our roster.
Yes.
He's an old school big.
Yeah.
And I love that. I'd love to see him play a lot more. I'm not trying to knock that. I'm just saying, knowing where he is in this rotation, he's the fourth of the men you mentioned. And I don't love that for him. I feel like he could definitely be playing or should be playing. But who knows? Maybe your idea is right. It would be nice to see him get some more minutes and do big man shit when we need it. Because there are some teams that like put out a Joel Embiid or some big dudes that like Wendell can't man up and handle. And I would like to see that going forward. You're right. It would be nice if he can prove that he shouldn't be that dusty guy in the cabinet. I wasn't trying to throw shade, Goga. I'm just saying that, like, the average person doesn't know who you are, and it seems like you just got $9 million for next season. It's like, whoo, hats off to you, big man. We know he can deliver when called upon. It just seems like he's not called on enough to make that kind of money in my book. But whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it is surprising, Pish, that he didn't opt somewhere where there's more playing time for him, like you said. Because he's quality, man, and he's only got so many years in the league. He's a competitor. I think maybe a couple things. Maybe number one, there's a little bit of loyalty gained with us taking a shot on him when he had been waived by the Pacers. And I think there may be some loyalty built there. And also, I think maybe he's looking over at WCJ and he's like, that guy hasn't played more than 60 games in years. So hey, I'm gonna get minutes. There's gonna be another stretch of the season where I can start, and maybe next time when he does come back, coach says, you know what, we're gonna keep rocking with Goga because we're on a winning streak again, or and so maybe he does see an opportunity where we see a little bit of a sparse of minutes. But also Moritz, I mean, coming back, $11 million a year, hanging out with his brother, man, the dynamic must be weird. Like, do you think his brother Franz is too nice of a guy? He's not letting his older brother hear it that he makes so much more money than him, do you think? Is he?
Well, this is a new thing because Moritz was making money more than him for a while. I think Franz lives with Moritz.
Yeah.
So maybe Moritz kicks him out now.
But what do you like? Are you happy to see Moritz back? He's kind of a good Swiss Army knife. He can do a little bit of everything. He brings some scoring punch some nights and that tenacity. Yep. Some nights he's like, there were nights where he looked like he was the only guy that really wanted to play, and I think that energy goes through the other players as well. So I'm happy to have him back. He's a little bit of a tweener for me. Like you said, Goga's the only true center we have. Moritz doesn't feel like a center. It's more like a power forward. But he handles
the ball too well to be a traditional big, and he can shoot the outside shot. I love what he brings, and $11 million for 2 years, that's a steal, I think.
Yeah.
And that's why it's tough because I have him over Goga for his versatility and what else he can do. But when we're talking about a true big, Goga's really the only true big we have. So
yeah. And
the rotation's not sexy, but it's also not terrible.
And consistency is key. That's what Weltman put ahead of a lot of things, right? He said, we're not going to lose our North Star, our defensive identity, and we're going to keep it consistent. And that's the best environment for young players to develop. So it makes sense why we brought these guys back. Shep, before we go on to the next topic, we'll talk a little bit about KCP signing. We already did a video about that. Check it out, our initial reaction. But I do want to shout out all of our all-stars and second cousins over on the Patreon. Magic Player History, Bolby the Dawn, Paulo and Franz's Warmth, Dylan Holden, Drummy Drummle D, Matthew Bell, Dan Young, Gloria, Damien, and Connor. Shout out to y'all. We love to do this show, but it does cost us about $2,000 a year to do. So we really appreciate if you could out there and if you're enjoying the content, you could throw us $5 a month over on the Patreon. That would be a big help. Maybe we should reach out to KCP because he got the bag, 3 years, $66 million. Maybe he would like to be a Patreon of the show. But Pish, man, I listened to the whole interview from KCP. I listened to the whole interview from Weltman about this KCP signing, and I love this. Like, more and more, hearing from this guy. He is the exact right fit, I think, for the identity of this team. Did he address what myself and some Magic fans were after in a steady point guard, a ball-handling guard? No, it seems like Jalen Suggs is going to be that guy, and I hope to hell he can develop into that role. But, man, KCP, as I was saying, fits the identity of this team so well. Orlando Magic HQ pulled one of the quotes from that interview, and KCP said, when asked about playing alongside Jalen Suggs, KCP says, I'm going to go on and say it right now. We might be making it again together next year. That's talking about an all-defensive team. So I do pride myself on that end. I think we are going to be one of the best backcourt defensive teams in the league. And I think that's our recipe for success, right? We were top 5 defense last year in the NBA. Adding KCP, can we be a top 3? Can we be the best defense in the league? I don't think that's hyperbolic at all or out of this world. I mean, we've got the pieces here to play that type of way. And KCP, from what Weltman said and everything we've been hearing, is just super respected around the league in terms of a hard worker, a good guy, someone he was talking about his role as if, my job here is to be a vet, to bring these young guys along and to show them what it's like to win a championship. Someone asked him directly, you've won championships. Do you think you can win a championship here? He's like, yeah, that's why I came here. He sees in this team, he believes in this team that there is championship potential here. I'm sure there were 22 million reasons per year also why he decided to come to Orlando, but he wanted to come somewhere to compete. And I'm just really excited to see how frustrated other teams are going to be when they play us, because he is an all-defensive type player. Now we got Suggs. We got J.I. I mean, Franz is an underrated defender. Paul, this is going to be something special, I think, on the defensive end of the ball, Pish.
Well, it has to be, because we don't score well. so if we're gonna win, look, let's be real, right?
Yeah,
if we're not good on defense, then we're not going to win games, because we're not going to outscore teams. That's not our thing.
Yeah.
So we can play good defense, and by the way, those turnovers lead to a lot of good buckets for us, and that really gets us going.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you have to look at it from a defensive standpoint. I think one of the biggest things that we maybe didn't talk about in our wrap up of the KCP thing is how big it is that a relatively big name free agent decided to come to the Orlando Magic. Yeah. That hasn't happened in a while. He's not just coming for money, right? He could have got that a lot of places. He's coming because he sees something here, right? This guy's already won a couple of titles, wants to get another one, sees a good young team, and he's hopping on the bandwagon. Yeah. He's like, hey, you're going to pay me to hop on this thing that's going this well? I'm in. That's a no-brainer for him. Yeah. But I love his attitude coming in. We'll talk about it in a second. The one mistake he's made so far since he's joined the team.
There it is.
But yeah, oh yeah. So
you
can't call us the Magics, by the way, guy.
That's okay.
Nothing will infuriate the Orlando Magic community more than calling us the Magics. As you can see here in the post by Banchero, suggesting that we waive him, which obviously is kidding. But yeah, he's going to be a big part of the mental toughness that already exists here, right? Like, this is a team that wants to keep proving themselves. And when you look back at what we did in the offseason, and we'll talk about this probably again at the end, him coming in is really the only thing that's changed.
Yeah.
A lot of the rest of it is
and Tristan Da Silva.
Let's let these young guys continue to develop another year, which I guess in the long run, I'm actually okay with. I really was hoping we'd make some more moves this offseason and take a bigger step. But that's me wanting us to skip a step, right? I'm a big dude. Sometimes when I'm going up little steps, I'll skip one. But they're still continuing their trajectory of moving up these stairs. And this season will be another piece of them stepping forward. I don't expect us to be an NBA Finals contender this year. Could we sneak into the Eastern Conference Finals with a little luck, a little gusto? Yeah, maybe. And that's not something I could have said maybe last year. So I guess we are taking steps in the correct direction. And we'll see. I think he's a good ad. Like I said in our wrap up, there isn't anything I don't like about him joining the squad. I think he's a perfect fit and the kind of guy I was looking for us to add as an actual veteran leadership instead of just being Joe Ingles.
I want to offer something too, Pich, that the other side of this, coming from Denver, there's some smoke in Denver right now, that things aren't going so well. They let a guy that was a key part of their championship walk out the door. They could have re-signed him. It's their player. They have bird rights. They can go over, I think they would have caused them maybe to go over the second apron, but when you're contending for championships, that's the time to push the chips in. And it's interesting to see Denver kind of almost taking their foot off the gas here, letting KCP go out the door, and believing in their younger guys, Christian Brown and such. And I don't know. I'm just a little bit of, a magic note here. We do have their pick for next year. I'm hoping where there's smoke, there's fire. Maybe you get a disgruntled Jokic this year. The wheels fall off, I'm not ever going to wish for injury, but maybe someone gets pissed off and things don't go their way and they have a bad year. And then, hey, we got their pick next year too. And that makes the Aaron Gordon, Gary Harris trade look a little different. And some people want to include this kind of as part of it, saying that, well, because Denver re-signed Aaron Gordon, that denied them the ability to re-sign KCP, and we get KCP, therefore we're going to include KCP in that trade consideration. I think that's a little bit of a leap, but it is
a bit of a leap, but so is that whole hypothetical you just came up with.
Okay,
although
fair.
I'm sure Jokic doesn't want to go on any more deep runs because he's missing out on all that fantastic horse racing.
Right.
In Serbia. So he wants to get to that sooner. I think in retrospect, man, would you rather have KCP or Aaron Gordon? Well, my opinions on this. So I'm really happy that worked out well for us on both occasions. I think the Nuggets could have paid any other big man to accept wide open dunks. Right. I don't know why they did it with him, although he does fit the bill well. But yeah, and honestly, the Nuggets probably should have won the title again this year. I don't know what happened there. They just kind of lost their way for a while. They should have been there to challenge the Celtics and then probably would have beat them, I think, in my book. But that's a Nugget problem.
Yeah.
We don't have that problem.
I'm hoping for more Nugget problems.
Okay. He's hoping for more. Yeah. It could happen.
We'll see. Yeah. Let's sow some discontent over there. All right, Pich. Well, we covered kind of all the big things. I think there is, Franz Chero on Twitter is saying that there is the disconnect from Magic fans to everyone else who watches and covers the NBA on the Magic offseason is baffling. Most Magic fans are disappointed and verging on outraged. Meanwhile, analysts and content creators have all unanimously coined us as one of the winners of the offseason. And this is a good message here from Franz Chero. Just a little bit of temperance because, I was similar to you, Pich. I was expecting a few new pieces to come in, not just a KCP. Maybe a KCP, a point guard, and a center. I was expecting, us to maybe go a little bit further, push the chips a little bit more in. But patience is key. And Weltman said it right when he took the job as the Orlando Magic general manager or president of basketball operations, that he's not going for a sugar high. And thank God this man has the keys and not one of us, because we are fans and we have our dumb fan brains and we just want to win immediately and all the time. But our best players are all under, 22, 23? So they're not even in their prime years yet. It doesn't make sense to burn all of your assets now and push everything in. We've got plenty of tradable contracts now. I mean, that's one of the reasons maybe you give Goga 3 years, right? It's an $8 million deal for a solid big. That's an awesome piece to have later to send it, being able to bring back money to match, money with some of these contracts you might want to bring back in. So we're set up here just for more moves down the road. This is good. We're doing well. The only thing, the only concern I have is around the point guard position, but I believe in Jalen Suggs. So I'm just going to preach that all summer to myself. I believe in Jalen Suggs. I believe in Jalen Suggs. I believe in Jalen Suggs because I know that man believes in himself. And, yeah, I think this
Listen, I gotta ask you here because we
Okay.
haven't talked about him at all,
Yeah.
and he is a point guard, and it doesn't seem like he's coming back. What are your? I know you're a big Markelle Fultz stan.
Yes.
I need you to give me some thoughts here because it doesn't seem like he's coming back.
Yeah,
where you at?
man. It's tough. It's tough. We did just renounce the rights to Markelle and Chuma, which makes them unrestricted free agents, no longer restricted free agents, so any team can negotiate with them. That seems to indicate that they are on their way. We've seen the last of them in a Magic uniform, although there's one more spot, and Markelle could come back on a veteran minimum, which I would like.
That'd be cool.
I would like that on
All
a
right.
veteran minimum. I think it was Philip in Orlando Magic Daily that made the argument and kind of had me thinking and agreeing. We want to develop these young guys. Paulo's our star, right? You want him. He grew up seeing and watching Markelle Fultz play at University of Washington. He remembers that year going with his mom who went to University of Washington. Markelle Fultz was a #1 draft pick. Paulo looks up to this guy. Even though, Paulo's the better player right now, I think, is it time to just kind of thank Markelle for his service and let him go away so Paulo can fully step into himself as the leader of this team? Because even though he is the leader, and I think there might be something inside of him that looks at Markelle and is like, no, that's I look up to that guy. That's my guy. And maybe because of that, he might not flex all of his leadership muscle and maybe not. I don't know. That might be bullshit. Probably having Markelle here is good for Paulo because they have that relationship from the past, and Markelle's a really positive guy. I'll be sad to see him go, but we need guys who can shoot, man. Like you can't get too attached. I hope he gets some success somewhere. Go have him play in San Antonio with Wemby. That'd be fun.
I would have been cool with him being, the bench, point guard at one time, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It seemed like he faded away. You can see that there's flashes of brilliance there and some of the talent is there, but I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a physical hurdle, a mental hurdle, something just isn't letting him boom out the way we kind of thought he would. Right.
Yeah.
And I understand that you're feeling hurt about that a little bit because I feel the same way with Wendell whenever he's underperforming. And we kind of thought these guys could be the guys that spring forward and really put us over the hump. And now it seems like they're not. But yeah, Wendell, not coming back to the team doesn't really hurt my feelings. I wish it would have, or not Wendell, sorry, Markelle not coming back. It just doesn't hurt my feelings, but hopefully he can catch on somewhere else where he can get some playing time, and maybe he'll, with more time and not having to wonder about whether he'll play or not, he can actually break out and be the player that he was perceived to be. This guy was really, really great in college, really fantastic player. And it's too bad that he didn't get a chance to prove it, but
Yeah.
we got to move on. We can't keep holding on to this broken stuff all the time and hoping it's going to work out. It's time for us to be aware of that. So even though we didn't bring in a lot of new stuff this year, at least we got rid of some of the broken toys like Chuma and Markelle and just kind of said, hey, thanks for your service, but now we're doing other things.
Yeah, and you got
They had a chance to prove themselves.
No, they
right?
did.
It's not like they didn't. They did.
Yeah, I mean, Markelle's time for this team was, 18, 19, 19, 20, but then he got injured, and that was because Markelle is dynamic when he has the ball in his hands and he is the driver of that offense. And he's not going to be able to get that chance anymore. Paulo's the driver of our offense. But, we also want to get AB and Jet Howard to play. Anthony Black, these guys got to play. We got to see what they are now. Like you said, Markelle's had his chance. Hopefully he gets one more shot somewhere else because he's still a damn good player, and I love to watch him play.
At this point, we'd rather see AB minutes and see what he can do
Yes.
Because we know what Markelle can do. So
Right.
that's a big part of this.
Yes. All right. So, I mean, we went over all the offseason kind of moves and transactions. One thing happening this offseason is the Olympics. And Paulo Banchero will not be playing for Team USA. And Ghost of Gert was happy about this because he'll have more opportunity to kind of work on himself. Adam Papagiorgio disagrees, saying, yeah, a little tongue-in-cheek here, yeah, because going to white parties and playing camp kids is how you improve, ... I hate these viewpoints. You get better by competing with and against the best in games that matter. I don't care how good your self-training is. It's not the same level. And Pish, you have a take to this. You have a response, sir.
Okay, first of all, it's Ghost of Geert.
Geert.
You say it wrong every time.
Geert.
Put some respect on the man's name.
Sorry.
But Adam is just so off on this one because I even responded with my own.
Yes,
international play doesn't matter. I don't care about international play. I don't care what country you're from. It doesn't matter. I don't care what state you're from. None of that stuff matters. You play for the Orlando Magic. That's where we want you. We want him to play and win for the Magic, not some pointless USA team filled with stars, right? He would be a bench player for them. He'd be playing out of position with rules that aren't even the same as the NBA. And look, some of the teams they play against are pretty good, but some are trash. So it's not really like that, even a comparison. Being a deep bench guy and being played, and I don't feel like it's as huge a benefit. And while it may not improve his play on the court, him going to white parties and playing camp kids is how you become a megastar. So it is important to who he is and who we want him to be. He's a #1 overall pick. He's starting to become somebody that's a household name. And being a part of that stuff off the court is part of his growth, Adam. It doesn't make him maybe a better basketball player, but it could, because if you're happy off the court, you're happy on the court, right? Let the man have a little rest and relaxation. And I know his point is, after the Olympics, they have 6 weeks off. It's like, all right. But, 6 weeks in comparison to an 82-year NBA schedule or playing that hard in the Olympics, it ain't the same. He's still playing against good players. It's not like all the good players are on Team USA and they're over there doing that. There's still a shit ton of good players here in the Americas that he's, I'm sure, getting together with and playing in pickup games and doing things. So I'm not worried about that shit. I'm not worried about that. I just don't want to see him get injured while playing, 5 minutes a game for Team USA so he can get a gold medal at the end of the day. Like, that doesn't matter to me. It may matter to him. If you're a person that can make an Olympic squad and you can win a medal, go do your thing. But me as Joe Blow, American over here, doesn't do shit for me. I could care less.
Yeah. I'm good not seeing Paulo play the center for Team USA for this summer. Right. I think I'll just stick to seeing clips of him working on his step back and all the moves in his bag on Instagram and Twitter whenever they're posted. So I'm cool with that. I'm excited to see that.
It's founded on something, right? Franz won Eurobasket, and he played really hard. And then his start of his season, it just was like, we've seen it happen before. We've seen guys get hurt. We saw Paul George back in the day, get hurt in international play and missed a ton of time. Like, these things happen. They're warranted. We're not, if he doesn't play, he doesn't get hurt. Yeah, if he plays, how much is he actually going to improve? Well, is it worth the risk? I say no. So, yeah, he can have his own opinion on it, but it's just, you shouldn't be shitting on all the Magic fans who are happy that our prized possession isn't over there doing some bullshit for nothing and is instead preparing for the Orlando Magic season, because that's what we are and that's what we care about.
And that's why you came here, ladies and gentlemen, second cousins, for some Orlando Magic news. It's been great talking all the off-season stuff. So with you, Pish, maybe one more move to come. Let us know what you agree or disagree with in the comments, second cousins, what we missed, what you're excited for coming up. And we'll see you next time. Peace out, Pish.
Thanks for coming.